Today we're going to focus on a core reality of mathematics classrooms: diversity. Every math classroom includes students with different abilities, languages, cultural backgrounds, and experiences. That diversity brings challenges, but it also brings powerful opportunities for learning when instruction is designed intentionally. This module is about moving beyond surface-level accommodations and thinking more deeply about how curriculum design and instructional decisions either expand or limit access to mathematics. Addressing diversity is not about lowering expectations or simplifying content. It is about maintaining rigorous mathematics while removing barriers that prevent students from fully engaging. This work builds directly on developmentally effective instruction. Students do not all learn in the same way or at the same pace, and those differences matter when we plan lessons, select representations, and respond to student thinking. Now let's focus on how diverse student needs impact curriculum design and delivery, and how teachers can use research-based frameworks to respond thoughtfully and equitably. An important idea to hold on to is the distinction between accommodations and adaptations. Accommodations change how students access instruction, such as providing enlarged text, additional time, or alternative formats. These supports matter, but they do not change the structure of the learning experience. Adaptations go further. They involve intentionally redesigning instruction so that students can engage meaningfully with the mathematics itself. Equity requires both, but transformative practice depends on adaptation. It's also helpful to name what does not count as meaningful adaptation. Simply giving a student fewer problems, removing challenging tasks, or having students watch while others do the thinking may reduce frustration, but it also reduces access to learning. These kinds of surface-level changes often preserve the barrier rather than removing it. One framework that supports intentional adaptation is Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. UDL asks teachers to anticipate learner variability from the start by offering multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression. Instead of waiting for students to struggle and then making changes, UDL encourages us to plan flexibly from the beginning. For example, imagine a student who has difficulty accessing visual information on a board or screen. In a fractions lesson, relying only on drawn models could create a barrier. Using enlarged print, tactile fraction tiles, and clear verbal explanations allows the student to engage with the same mathematical ideas as their peers. These supports do not reduce rigor. They preserve the cognitive demand while increasing access. This idea connects directly to Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. Learning happens when students are supported just beyond what they can do independently. For students with exceptionalities, accommodations and instructional supports act as scaffolds that bridge the gap between current understanding and potential learning. Language diversity is another critical dimension of equity in math instruction. Mathematics is not language-free. Students must interpret word problems, understand academic vocabulary, explain reasoning, and participate in discussion. For multilingual learners, language demands can mask mathematical understanding. Research on bilingual education emphasizes the importance of connecting instruction to students' existing language resources. Providing math vocabulary in multiple languages, using visuals and diagrams, and structuring opportunities for partner and small group discussion all support comprehension without lowering expectations. This work aligns with Cummins' theory of language acquisition, which highlights the role of a student's first language in developing academic proficiency in a second language. When students can connect new math concepts to familiar linguistic structures, they are better able to reason, explain, and transfer understanding. Cultural relevance is also essential for equitable instruction. Culturally responsive teaching connects mathematics to students' lived experiences and cultural knowledge. This helps students see math as meaningful rather than abstract or disconnected from their lives. For example, fractions can be introduced through contexts like food sharing, community events, or family traditions. Geometry lessons might explore patterns found in art, textiles, or architecture connected to students' cultures. These examples do not replace mathematical rigor. They strengthen engagement and support conceptual understanding. This approach reflects Latson-Billings' work on culturally relevant pedagogy, which emphasizes academic success, cultural competence, and critical consciousness. When students see themselves reflected in the curriculum, they are more likely to participate, persist, and see themselves as capable mathematicians. Readiness levels also shape how students experience instruction. Students enter classrooms with different prior knowledge, confidence, and learning needs. Differentiated instruction allows teachers to respond to this variability while maintaining a shared learning goal. Differentiation might include tiered tasks, scaffolds such as sentence frames, or enrichment opportunities that extend thinking. For example, in a lesson on solving equations, some students may work on one-step equations, others on multi-step equations, and others on creating real-world situations that can be modeled with equations. All students are engaging with the same core ideas, but through pathways that meet them where they are. This connects to Bruner's spiral curriculum, which emphasizes revisiting key ideas over time with increasing complexity. Differentiation supports movement along that spiral without holding students back or pushing them ahead without support. Families are also essential partners in supporting diverse learners. Math anxiety, language barriers, and unfamiliar instructional approaches can limit family engagement if teachers are not intentional. Clear communication and accessible resources help bridge this gap. Providing bilingual materials, explaining concepts through everyday contexts, and inviting families into learning through opportunities like virtual math nights helps build shared understanding. When families understand how math is taught, they are better equipped to support learning at home. Now let's bring these ideas together through a classroom case study. Imagine you are preparing to teach a middle school unit on fractions. Your classroom includes students with varied needs. Some students are developing academic English. One student has a visual impairment that affects access to printed materials. Other students bring cultural experiences that involve sharing, measurement, and proportional reasoning. As you plan the unit, you begin by identifying the central mathematical goals. You then ask how different students might access those goals. You choose fraction tiles and tactile manipulatives so students can physically explore fraction relationships. You pair visual models with explicit verbal explanations. You plan structured partner discussions with sentence stems to support academic language. You also design tasks with multiple entry points and multiple ways for students to show understanding. Some students represent fractions with models, others explain reasoning verbally, and others write equations. Throughout the unit, you gather formative assessment data by listening to discussions, examining student work, and observing how students use materials. That data informs instructional adjustments, groupings, and pacing. In real classrooms, this kind of planning often happens within constraints. Teachers are balancing time, pacing guides, curriculum materials, and diverse student needs all at once. Opportunity work does not happen in ideal conditions. It happens through moment-by-moment instructional decisions, such as which representation to use, which question to ask, or when to slow down and revisit an idea. This scenario reflects a shift from asking how to fit students into a fixed curriculum to asking how curriculum can be adapted to serve students. That shift is at the heart of equitable instruction. Take a moment to pause and reflect on your own practice or plans. Which student needs are you already considering? Where might instruction unintentionally create barriers? How can adaptations maintain rigor while expanding access? Research shows that meaningful change requires more than small modifications. It requires rethinking how diversity is viewed. When diversity is treated as an asset rather than a problem, instructional decisions become more intentional, collaborative, and effective. Addressing diversity in math instruction is ongoing work. It requires reflection, flexibility, and responsiveness to students. When done well, it results in classrooms where all students can engage deeply with mathematics and see themselves as capable, valued mathematical thinkers.